Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Let me know if you see the screen.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 26. King Puranjana goes to the forest to hunt, and his queen becomes angry. Naraduvacha sa ekada maheshvaso ratham panchasvam asugam Dvisham dvichakram ekaksham trivenum panchabandhuram ekarashmi ekadamanam ekanidam dvikubaram pancha praharanam sapta varutham pancha vikramam हैमोपस्करम् आरुह्य स्वर्णवर्माक्षयेषुधिः एकादशचमूनाथः पञ्च प्रस्थम् अगाद्वनम्. The great sage Narada continued, My dear king, once upon a time King Puranjana took up his great bow and equipped with golden armor and a quiver of unlimited arrows and accompanied by 11 commanders, he sat on his chariot driven by 5 swift horses and went to the forest named Panchaprastha. He took with him in that chariot 2 explosive arrows. The chariot itself was situated on 2 wheels and one revolving axle. On the chariot were 3 flags, one rein, one chariot driver, one sitting place, 2 poles to which the harness was fixed, 5 weapons, and 7 coverings. The chariot moved in 5 different styles, and 5 obstacles lay before it. All the decorations of chariot were made of gold. चचारा मृगयान् तत्र दृप्ता आतेषु कर्मुकः विहाय जायाम् अथ अर्हम् मृगव्यसनं लालसः. It was almost impossible for King Puranjana to give up the company of his queen even for a moment. Nonetheless, on that day, being very much inspired by the desire to hunt, he took up his bow and arrow with great pride and went to the forest, not caring for his wife. Uh, is it recording once? Mm, okay. आसुरीं वृत्तिमाश्रित्य घोरात्मा निरनुग्रहः निहनं निशितैर्बाणैर्वनेषु वनगोचरान्. At the time, King Puranjana was very much influenced by demonic propensities. Because of this, his heart became very hard and merciless, and with sharp arrows he killed many innocent animals in the forest, taking no consideration. तीर्थेषु प्रतिदृष्टेषु राजा मेध्यान् पशून् वने यावदर्थम् अलं लुब्धो हन्यात् इति नियम्यते. If a king is too attracted to eating flesh, he may, according to the directions of the revealed scriptures on sacrificial performances, go to the forest and kill some animals that are recommended for killing. One is not allowed to kill animals unnecessarily or without restrictions. The Vedas regulate animal killing to stop the extravagance of foolish men influenced by the modes of passion and ignorance. य एवं कर्म नियतं विद्वान् कुर्वीत मानवः कर्मणा तेन राजेन्द्र ज्ञानेन न स लिप्यते. Narad Muni continued to speak to King Parachina Barihishat. My dear king, any person who works according to different directions of Vedic scriptures does not become involved in fruitive activities. Anyata karma kurvano mana rudho nibadhyate gunapravaha patito nashta pragnyo vrajati adaha. Otherwise, a person who acts whimsically falls down due to false prestige. Thus, he becomes involved in the laws of nature, which are composed of three qualities: goodness, passion, and ignorance. In this way, a living entity becomes devoid of his real intelligence and becomes perpetually lost in the cycle of birth and death. Thus, he goes up and down from a microbe in stool to a high position in the Brahmaloka planet. तत्तनिर्भिन्नगात्राणं चित्रवाजैः शिलीमुखैः विप्लवो भूदुःखितानां दुःसहः करुणात्मनाम्. When King Puranjana was hunting in this way, many animals within the forest lost their lives with great pain, being pierced by the sharp arrow heads. Upon seeing these devastating, ghastly activities performed by the king, all the people who were merciful by nature became very unhappy. Such merciful um, persons could not tolerate seeing all this killing. शशान् वराहान् महिषान् गवयान् रुरो सल्यकान् मेध्यान् अन्यां च विविधान् विनिघ्नन् श्रमम् अध्यगात्. In this way, King Puranjana killed many animals, including rabbits, boars, buffaloes, bison, black bear, porcupines, and other game animals. After killing and killing, the king became very tired. ततः क्षुत्रुत् परिश्रान्तो निवृत्तो गृहं येयिवान् कृतस्नानोचिताहार संविशेषगतः क्लमः. After this, the king, very much fatigued, hungry and thirsty, returned to his royal palace. After returning, he took a bath and had an appropriate dinner. Then he took rest and thus became freed from all restlessness. आत्मानम् अर्हयां चक्रे धूपालेपश्रग आदिभिः साध्वालङ्कृत सर्वाङ्गो महिष्याम् आददे मनः. After this, King Puranjana decorated his body with suitable ornaments. He also smeared scented sandalwood pulp over his body and put on flower garlands. In this way, he became completely refreshed. After this, he began to search out his queen. तृप्तहृष्टसुदृप्तश्च कन्दर्पाकृष्टमानसः न व्यचष्टवरारोहां गृही गृहिणा गृहिणीं गृहमेदिनीम्. After taking his dinner and having his thirst and hunger satisfied, King Puranjana felt some joy within his heart. Instead of being elevated to a higher consciousness, he became captivated by Cupid and was moved by a desire to find his wife, who kept him satisfied in his household life. अन्तःपुरस्त्रियो पृच्छद् विमान एव वेदिषत् अपि वः कुशलं रामाः शेश्वरीणां यथा पुरा. At that time, King Puranjana was a little anxious and he inquired from the household women, "My dear beautiful women, are you and your mistress all very happy like before or not?" न तथैतर्हि रोचन्ते गृहेषु गृहसम्पदः यदि न स्यात् गृहे माता पत्नी वा पतिदेवता वङ्गे रत इव प्राज्ञा को नामासीत दीनवत्. King Puranjana said, "I do not understand why my household paraphernalia does not attract me as before. I think that if there is neither a mother nor devoted wife at home, the home is like a chariot without wheels. Where is the fool who will sit down on such an unworkable chariot? क्व वर्तते सा ला क्व वर्तते सा ललना मज्जन्तं व्यसनार्णवय या माम् उद्धरते प्राज्ञां दीपयन्ति पदे पदे." Kindly let me know the whereabouts of that beautiful woman who always saves me with when I am drowning in the ocean of danger. By giving me good intelligence at every step, she always saves me. रामोवाच नरनाथ न जानीमास् त्वत्प्रिया यद्व्यवस्यति भूतले निरवस्तारे शयानां पश्य शत्रुहन्. All the women addressed the king. O master of the citizens, we do not know why your dear wife has taken on this sort of existence. O killer of enemies, kindly look. She is lying on the ground without bedding. We cannot understand why she is acting this way. नारदुवाच पुरञ्जनस्वमहिषीं निरीक्ष्यावधूतां भुवि तत्सङ्गोन्मतिः ज्ञानो वैक्लव्यं परमं ययौ. The great sage Narada continued, my dear king, Prachina Barhi, as soon as King Puranjana saw his queen lying on the ground appearing like a mendicant, he immediately became bewildered. Shantvanyan Shlakyana Satyana Vach शान्तव्यं श्लक्षणया वाचा हृदयेन वधूयतां प्रेयस्या स्नेहसंरम्भ लिङ्गम् आत्मनि नाभ्यगात्. The king, with a grieved mind, began to speak to his wife with very pleasing words. Although he was filled with regret and tried to pacify her, he could not see any symptom of anger caused by love within the heart of his beloved wife. अनुनिन्येथ शनकैर्वीरो नुनय कोविदः पस्पर्शपादयुगलम् आह चोत्सङ्गलालिताम्. Because the king was very expert in flattery, he began to pacify his queen very slowly. First he touched her 2 feet, then embraced her nicely, seating her on his lap, and began to speak as follows. पुरञ्जन उवाच नूनं त्व अकृतपुण्यास्ते भृत्या एष्व ईश्वरा शुभे कृतागश्व आत्मसात् कृत्वा शिक्षादण्डं न युञ्जते. King Puranjana said, my dear beautiful wife, when a master accepts a servant as his own man, but does not punish him for his offenses, the servant must be considered unfortunate. परमो अनुग्रहो दण्डो भृत्येषु प्रभुना प्रभुणार्पितः बालो न वेद तत्तन्वी बन्धुकृत्यम् अमर्षणः. My dear slender maiden, when a master chastises his servant, the servant should accept this as great mercy. One who becomes angry must be very foolish not to know that such is the duty of his friend. सात्वं मुखं सुदति शुभ्र अनुरागभारा व्रीढविलम्बविलसद्दशितावलोकं नीलालकालिभिरुपस्कृतम् उन्नशम्नः स्वानां प्रदर्शय मनस्विनी वल्गुवाक्यम्. My dear wife, your teeth are very beautifully set and your attractive features make you appear very thoughtful. Kindly give us your anger, kindly give up your anger, be merciful upon me, and please smile upon me with loving attachment. When I see a smile on your beautiful face, and when I see your hair, which is as beautiful as color blue, and see your raised nose and hear your sweet talk, you will become more beautiful to me and thus attract me and oblige me. You are my most respected mistress. तस्मिन् ददेदमम् अहं तव वीरपत्नी यो अन्यत्र भूषुरकुलात् कृतकिल्बिषस्तं पश्येन वीतभयम् उन्मदितं लोक्याम् अन्यत्र वै मुररिपुर् इतर इतरत्र दासात्. O hero's wife, kindly tell me if someone has offended you. I am prepared to give such a person punishment as long as he does not belong to the Brahmana caste. But for the servant of Muraripu, Krishna, Muraripu, I excuse no one within or beyond these 3 worlds. No one can freely move after offending you, for I am pleased to punish him. वक्त्रं न ते वितिलकलं वक्त्रं न ते वितिलकं मलिनं विहर्षं संरम्भभीमम् अविमृष्टम् अपेतरागं पश्येत्स्थनाव अपि शुचोपहतौ सुजातौ बिम्बाधरं विगतकुङ्कुमपङ्करागम्. My dear wife, until this day I have never seen your face without tilak decorations, nor have I seen you so morose and without luster or affection, nor have I seen your two nice breasts wet with tears from your eyes, nor have I ever before seen your lips, which are ordinarily as red as the bimba fruit, without their reddish hue. तन्मे प्रसीद सुहृदः कृतकिल्बिषस्य स्वैरं गतस्य मृगयां व्यसनातुरस्य कादेवरं वशगतं सुकुमास्त्रवेगं विसृष्ट पौंष्णम् उशती न भजेत कृत्ये. My dear queen, due to my sinful desires, I went to the forest to hunt without asking you. Therefore, I must admit that I have offended you. Nonetheless, thinking of me as your most intimate subordinate, you should still be very much pleased with me. Factually, I am very much bereaved, but being pierced by the arrows of Cupid, I am feeling lusty. But where is the beautiful woman who would give up her lusty husband and refuse to unite with him? Here ends this chapter 26 from the fourth canto titled King Purañjana Goes to the Forest to Hunt and His Queen Becomes Angry. So, this chapter, though it is very small, it has, yeah, in the first three verses itself, Prabhupada purport is so elaborate. Yeah, I mean, all the purports are very, very powerful. If you see the first three, for the three verses, the purport itself is very nice. It says, these three verses explain how the material body of living entity is under the control of the three qualities of external energy. Mm. The body itself is called chariot, and the living entity is the owner of the body. Dehinosmin yata dehe. Yeah. The owner of the body is called Dehi, and he is situated within this body, specifically within the heart. The living entity is driven by one chariot driver. The chariot itself is made of three gunas, three qualities of nature. Yantra rudhani maya. The word yantra means carriage. The body is given by material nature, and the driver of that body is Paramatma, super soul. So there is all this explanation. It says further, Tribhir Gunamayir Bhavai. The living entity is bewildered by the three qualities of material nature. So Narad Muni wanted to prove to King Prachina Barhishat that king was being influenced by Tamogun, the quality of ignorance, even though the king was supposed to be very religious. According to, and then as I said, the purport is highlighting very important point. According to the Karma Kandya, the process of fruitive activities, a person performs various sacrifices directed by the Vedas, and in all these sacrifices, animal killing or experimenting on the life of animals to test the power of Vedic mantra is enjoined. Animal killing is certainly conducted under the influence of mode of ignorance. Even though one may be religiously inclined, animal sacrifice is recommended in the Shastras, not for in the Vedas, but even in the modern scriptures of other sects. So this is there. These animal sacrifices are recommended in the name of religion, but actually animal sacrifice is meant for persons in the mode of ignorance. When such people kill animals, they can at least do so in the name of religion. Uh, these days, when we are talking about alcohol, free free supply, no licensed drugs, not freely but with license. So there is some regulations for the well maintenance of the government. Such a kind of license is given. So here animal killing is given a license only under this condition that they at least follow religion. However, when the religious principle system is transcendental like the Vaishnava religion, there is no place for animal sacrifice. Such a transcendental religious system is recommended by Krishna. Sarva dharma parijyancha mamekam sharanam rajaha tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma suchaha. So here Because King Prachina Parishad was engaging in performing various sacrifices, Narada Muni pointed out that such sacrifices are influenced by the mode of ignorance. As I said, this purport goes further. In performance, if one wants to perform sacrifice, it is said the performance of Sankirtan Yajna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. There is no recommendation for animal sacrifices. In these three verses, King Puranjana's going to the forest to kill animals is symbolic of living entities being driven by modes of ignorance and thus engaging in different activities for sense gratification. So we know that this is analogical or metaphorical narration of Narada Muni. In fact, there is no real Puranjana. In fact, there is no real queen. All this is a story that Narada Muni is telling to Prachina Barhi Shat. So it is said when it is influenced by the mode of passion, the infection is at the symptomatic stage. However, when the body is influenced by mode of goodness, the materialistic infection becomes purified. So this is a level. The ritualistic ceremonies recommended in Vedic systems are certainly on the platform of goodness, but because within this material world, even the mode of goodness is sometimes polluted by the qualities, namely passion or ignorance, a man in goodness is sometimes driven by the influence of ignorance. Anyway, this goes further and there is a very important point. Consequently, here there is example given about the horses, right? The chariot is driven by five horses. Hmm. Um, how where to start? The forest in which King Puranjana engaged in hunting was named Panchaprastha. Panchaprastha, Prastha means Indraprastha is a place where mm, yeah, people reside. Hmm. Or Prasthan means is also to leave. Uh, so Prastha means is a location or a place. Yeah, and here when it says five, these are about five senses. The body has five working senses, namely the hand, leg, tongue, rectum, genital, karmendriyas. By taking full advantage of these working senses, the body enjoys the material life. The chariot is driven by five horses, which represent five senses, namely eyes, ears, nose, skin, and tongue. These sense organs are very easily attracted by the sense objects. Now, consequently, the horses are described as moving swiftly. On the chariot, King Puranjan kept two explosive weapons. Uh, what are the two explosive weapons are very important as for us to know, because if we know these are so dangerous, we will be little careful with them. It is said, which may be compared to ahankar or false ego. This false ego is typified by two attributes. What are these two explosive weapons? One is we think that I am this body, ahanta, ahanta. I am this body, and second is mamata, means everything in my bodily relationship belong to me. So these are the two uh, influences of false ego. uh, and these when King Puranjana was going, he said he's carrying these two things. The two wheels of the chariot may be compared to two moving facilities, namely sinful life and religious life. The chariot is decorated with three flags, which represent three modes of nature. Five kinds of obstacles or uneven roads represent five kinds of air passing within the body: prana, apana, udana, samana, and vyana. The body itself is covered by seven coverings named skin, mucus, fat, bone, marrow, and marrow, bone, and semen. Yeah. The living entity is covered by three subtle metal elements and five gross metal elements. These are actually obstacles placed before the living entity on the path of liberation from metal bondage. The word Rashmi, rope, in this verse indicate the mind. The word Nida is also significant, for Nida indicates the nest where a bird takes rest. In this case, Nida is the heart where the living entity is situated. The living entity sits in one place only. The cause of his bondage are two, namely lamentation and illusion. Therefore, he is in illusion. As a result of being in this illusory situation, living entity is always lamenting. Dvikubara. here it says two posts of bondage. Kubara means to um shackles. Yeah, dvikubara, two shackles. Yeah, anyway, this goes further. The forest named Pancha Prastha, where king went to hunt, is the forest of five senses: form, taste, sound, smell, and touch. Thus, in these three verses, Narad Muni describes the position of material body and engagement of the living entity within it. As I said, one so much to understand, so much, yeah. Narad Muni just so easily has spoken, yeah. There are so many other further he says it was almost impossible for King Purañjana to give up the company of his queen even for a moment. In the purport, Prabhupada writes one form of hunting, yeah, when King Puranjan had so much attraction but he wanted to go for hunting. Why? One form of hunting is known as woman hunting. A conditioned soul is never satisfied with one wife. Those whose senses are very much uncontrolled especially try to hunt for many women. King Puranjana's abandoning the company of his religiously married wife is representative of conditioned souls' attempt to hunt for many women for sense gratification. Yeah. So, when one becomes too proud of his position, influenced by a mode of passion, he gives up the right path and accepts the wrong one. Kshatriya kings are sometimes advised to go to the forest to hunt ferocious animals just to learn how to kill, but such forces are never meant for sense gratification. Killing animals to eat their flesh is forbidden for human beings. And then this Puranjan very much influenced by demonic propensity. He wanted to enjoy. In the mode of ignorance, he had this. He is thus described as asuric, demonic. When people are demonic in spirit, they are not merciful towards the poor animals. And then he was killing, and killing, uh, taking no consideration. Uh, in the end of this fifth verse, Prabhupada mentions this Krishna consciousness movement is the only means by which the sinful activities of men in this Kali Yuga can be counteracted. Tirteshu pratidreshu raja medhyan pashun vane. He says, if a king is too attracted to eating flesh, he may, according to the directions of revealed scriptures. Uh, there is this further. If there are senses, then why to restrict? Some people may think, in the purport Prabhupada is asking, because we are humans, senses should be regulated. If we are animals, that's okay. A lion or a tiger is not supposed to do tapasya, not supposed to perform austerity, even though when there is a deer or a cow is in front, it thinks, no, 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 I shouldn't eat. I want to become sattvic. No, but humans are meant for regulating. Uh, and of course, if one has propensity to enjoy opposite sex, that can be done in married life. And then next one, eating meat only when animal is killed and offered to goddess Kali. This is what is mentioned, yeah, according to the scriptures. It is said, everyone is inclined in this age to eat meat and fish, drink liquor, and indulge in sex life. But according to the Vedic injunctions, sex is allowed only in marriage. Meat eating is allowed only when animal is killed and offered before goddess Kali, and intoxication is allowed only in restricted way. In this verse, the word niyamyate indicates that all these things should be regulated. So ultimately, it is not that, oh, now we have a facility to eat meat, so let's enjoy meat. Now there is a facility to enjoy opposite sex, let's enjoy. No, there is a regulation, and as per religious regulations, one has to exercise so that he protects himself from fall down. The Vedas are not meant for the animals but for understanding of human society. A person who indiscriminately violates the rules and regulations given by Vedas is liable to be punished. So we may ask, what if I don't follow this? Who is going to check? In fact, government also allows doing all these things. So why should I follow all these things? So it says many business concerns publicly advertise that topless girls are available in this club or in that shop. Thus, women have become instruments of sense enjoyment in modern society. The Vedas enjoin, however, that if a man has the propensity to enjoy more than one wife, as is sometimes the propensity for men in a higher social order, such as Brahmana, Kshatriya, and Vaishyas, and even sometimes in Shudras, he is allowed to marry more than one wife. Hmm. Marriage means taking complete charge of a woman and living peacefully without debauchery. At the present moment, however, debauchery is unrestricted. Nonetheless, the society makes a law that one should not marry more than one wife. This is typical of a demonic society. Anyway, this is, I mean, there are so many. Yeah, as I said, I can't stop with yeah, I can say even the ninth verse is saying, man-made laws have defects. What is that? Committing mistakes, being illusion, cheating propensity, having imperfect senses, and man makes laws, they will have defects. Hmm. So this is what here it said. And Puranjan is not interested in leading a very regulated life. So he goes to the forest and he messes up his own life. And in the end, he comes back home and then he sees why is his wife not happy. Yeah. Anyway, if I will actually stop if it is already 15. And let me check. Okay, we have maybe 5 minutes more I can take and go to the 20 verse. So here there is very nice from verse number 15. It is said, King Puranjan said, I do not understand why my household paraphernalia does not attract me as before. For this, Chanakya Pandit is saying, Mata yasya grihe nasti bharya cha priya vadini aranyam tena gantavyam yatharanyam tatha graham. He says, a real mother is devotional service to the Lord. A real wife is devoted wife who helps her husband execute religious principles in devotional service. Otherwise, what happens? As per Chanakya Pandit, if a person has neither a mother nor a pleasing wife at home, he should leave home. Aranyam tena gantavyam. He should go to the forest. Yatharanyam tatha graham. Why? Because there is no difference between forest and home. And actually, a woman is supposed to be the energy of man. Historically, in the background of every great man, there is either a mother or a wife. One's household life is very successful if he has both a good wife and mother. In other words, if a man has good mother or a good wife, there is no need of his taking sannyas. That is, unless it is absolutely necessary, as it is for Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yeah. So in this way, it goes further. All the women address the king, O master of citizens, we do not know why your dear wife has taken in on this sort of existence. Hmm? When she is lying on the ground without bedding. Uh, so here the wife of King Puranjana was lying on the ground because she was neglected by her husband. Actually, the woman must always be protected by her husband. We always speak of goddess of fortune as being placed on the chest of Narayan. In other words, the wife must remain embraced by her husband. Thus she becomes beloved and well protected. Just as one saves his money and places it under his own protection, one should similarly protect his wife by his own personal supervision. Ardhangini means considered to be half of the body. The home should be a place of for devotional service, and wife should be chaste and accepted by a ritualistic ceremony. In this way, one can become happy at home. And then Narad Muni said, as soon as King Puranjan saw his wife lying like that, he immediately became bewildered. Hmm? Uh, Hmm. Yeah, as I said, yeah, there is so much again in these verses explanation about repentance. Yeah, so now the king is bewildered. So he is feeling bewilderment because after all he has neglected his wife. Here, wife is compared to bhakti. Yeah. So that's why it is said that when Narad Muni was thinking like this, in this verse, the word avadhutam is significant, for it refers to a mendicant who does not take care of his body. Since the queen was lying on the ground without bedding and proper dress, King Puranjan became very much aggrieved. In other words, he repented that he had neglected his intelligence, and has engaged himself in forest in killing animals. Uh, in this regard, the point here is when we turn back and check the condition of our bhakti, isn't it bewildering? We started long back ago, but progress isn't there much. Why? And seeing our condition, we should genuinely repent. Forgetting of devotional service, devotional life leads to sinful activities. So repentance, like what here Narottam Das Thakur is saying, Hari Hari Vifale Janama Gonai no Manushya Janama Paya Radha Krishnana Bhajiya. So what is the use of getting a life when one doesn't take to Krishna chanting the name of Lord? Narottam Das Thakur here says, Janiya Shuniya Visha Khainu is as good as drinking poison. Hmm? One willing, it's like as if one is willingly drinking poison. So, in that way, it is said because the king was very expert in flattery, he began to pacify his queen very slowly. Uh, in the purport, Prabhupada is giving about Urukrama means Lord who is a wonderful actor, Vamana Dev. And in this case, um, this this Puranjan is very, very smartly fanning or soothing uh, his wife. So it is said practicing Krishna conscious needs deliberate efforts. So for that it is said touch the feet of spiritual master. Krishna consciousness is not possible by self endeavor. This is coming. Oh my God. Yeah, in the verse 20. In other words, one cannot arouse Krishna consciousness simply by his own mental speculation. One must surrender to a bona fide spiritual master. Only this process will help one. So, anyway, finally, he's appreciating, oh, beautiful lady. And then, so I'm just coming here so that I can please you. I'll be happy in that way. Uh, so finally, he satisfies and soothes her. He says, "My dear wife, until this day, I have never seen your face without tilak and all these things. What has happened to you? Huh? Where is the beautiful woman who would give up her lusty husband and refuse to unite with him?" So in this way, the King Puranjan succeeds to please his wife, and then uh, yeah, then king and queen enjoy again their life. Yeah, this is what is said. What will happen afterwards? Next chapter is very exciting. Tomorrow we will not have the session, but Monday we will take it from here, and maybe I will start going a little slow in terms of not reading the whole chapter. Though this was 26 verses, actually one could go slowly, like 13 or 15, like that. So next chapter, yeah, though it is just again a small one with 30 verses, but I'll take into two parts because there is so much. After repentance, what happens? The condition of Puranjan. This is what is discussed there. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Okay. So see you next week, Monday. Yeah. Thank you. Then Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyo cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। जय गौर प्रेमानंद।
Prabhuji, thank you.
Thank you.